It's a new week from Muye's official production.
Na hivi ama wakawasaidia, kwa sababu ile youth empowerment tunasema ni kwamba huyu kijana akili anayo, uwezo anao, lakini akili na uwezo bila funding hakuna mahali naenda.
Get exclusive interviews, more on important factors concerning the youths. Here, we don't just talk, we sit, we discuss, we see, and we forward. Well, it's a new week from Muye's official production. And as you always know, we have a podcast at the end of our weekly documentary. And today, I have a special guest with me here from Mariakani. She is a CEO for a very good initiative in Mariakani. She's going to introduce herself, and we'll learn more as we go on with this interview. I hope you will enjoy it as we move further. So here is my guest. I don't want to talk on your behalf, so let them know who is Lorraine. When I hear about Lorraine, who is actually Lorraine?
So my name is Lorraine Kasuli, and every time I'm mentioned, I would really want to be known as a founder and a CEO of an initiative, Mariakani Impact Mtaani Initiative, that has been running for the last 3 years in Mariakani. And it is an initiative that aims in poverty alleviations through skill transfer to youths. And also we do programs like period poverty, we have agendas like hunger management, and so much more. And we've been implementing one agenda after the other. It is the only introduction that I want right now. I am single, not yet married, so I do not have a lot of titles, but I'm a daughter, and I come from a family that is here in Mariakani. Yeah, my grandfather is called Peter Nzuki, the late, and my grandmother is called Julia Kasuli, and that's how I found myself in Mariakani.
So from that introduction, I can get your roots. You are a pure Kamba.
Yeah, I'm Kamba.
Wow.
Yeah, and
I wish to marry from Kambas. That community. I've never tried to jaribu huko kuguzaguza wa Kamba, lakini naona sasa tabidi nianze kugeuza test. Ama namna gani? Sasa pata bibi kwenu?
Kwetu saa yes, na wasichana wako. And it also depends with what you want, because a lot of ladies from my family are well empowered, and they're not the kind of ladies you can sweep under the carpet.
Yeah. Of course, I'm a class man. You know, I'm a classy man, so I have standards.
Awesome.
So let's switch from our main topic. Here, I usually talk about the future of the Kenyan youth. And pointing at your initiative, Mariakani Impact Initiative, it's something that has caught attention in Mariakani for the past few weeks. I can say the past 2 to 3 months. An MCA visited you there, donated a machine. You held a rally that was a walk for mental awareness. And the main purpose I called you here is because I want us to talk about the future of the Kenyan youth concerning their mental status. Because looking at the current situation with the Gen Zs and even the young millennials, there's a lot of cases of suicide cases. People are living with the stress. People are living with the mental instability. So you, as the founder of Mimi, how do you see the future of the Kenyan youth? Is it in safe hands or is not in safe hands regarding their mental status?
I believe the mental health situation of the Kenyan youth is at stake, because most of the times different generations are born, and in every generation, like, there comes up something different as compared to the previous generations. Yeah. And this is to say that a lot of times youths are mostly misunderstood by most of the generations that come before them. And when you don't have a clue of what someone wants, of how someone feels, or how someone should approach an issue at their age bracket, now the problem comes up. And what I feel that the youth lack the most is empowerment and the help and support from the immediate community, because we have seen generations come before us that grew up in a setup where nobody cares and everybody is trying to survive, and parents were really inclined into like disciplining their kids to whatever extent, even if it comes to beating this person, even if it comes to like using force to like instill discipline. But the current generation is so different. They expect conversations, they expect solutions, and they expect also finances, because most of the times we are from generations that had to struggle their way up without having like any blueprint or anyone who like had to offer a hand to be able to like stabilize their life. And life now is different, the economy is different, the financial trajectory is also different. So it is so expensive to be a youth right now as compared to the past. And mental health at the moment is really a challenge, because when the needs are there and there is no way to like solve these problems
Handle them.
and to handle the needs, it gets to a point where someone can easily give up or can easily become suicidal, because first of all, this is a generation that has been misunderstood. That is what I quoted before. So every time you see a youth trying to do something to make their life better, you'll also meet people who always have something negative to say about, oh, you're a youth, you don't even know what you're doing, instead of even trying to guide this person. And I feel like the past generations really celebrate when youths are very stranded or youths can't figure out things, instead of like trying to like intervene and tell them, oh, this is how it's done, because we really tried this thing and we did it this way and we managed to do it. So it is basically a conversation around the community that we are in, because if you neglect what someone feels from deep inside, they will not have the nerve to be able to confide in you or either ask for like maybe
Can I cut
solutions.
you a bit? I think there's something you're trying to say, and I want to understand it better. You're saying that the older generation is trying to celebrate or enjoy when the youths are going through something.
Yes.
So are this old generation not our own parents, our own grandparents?
They are, and that is the sad part, because mostly when maybe a youth is doing something exceptional, or maybe when a youth is trying to figure things out, the naysayers are always the older generation. You'll never, and now this is getting out of hand, because when the older generation influences hate or invalidation to a younger person, even the younger generation is going to invalidate this person and hate them, because if you cannot get support from people who came before you and people trying to like see how valid is your idea and where they can come through. So it is constantly a competition between the older generation and the youth, and it is even evident in leadership, because even when you see someone who's young trying to like fight for any position of power, they're always told like, you're so young, why are you doing this, you're this and that, instead of telling them, oh, you are young, you're interested in leadership, this is how you can do to achieve what you want.
So what do you think? What do you think is there hate between the older generation and the younger generation? Where is this hate coming from? Do you think is it because they are seeing the youths or the younger generation coming as a threat? Or what is the really thing that pushes this older generation to inflict hate to this young generation who's trying to raise up and bring a voice and a change to the current regime?
I think privilege, there is a better privilege right now as compared to when the older generation were youths. There was no privileges like the internet. There was no way to figure out how your life is gonna be. But recently, you're able to determine, if I start something today, this is how it's going to be tomorrow, and this is how it's been accepted by the people on the internet, even strangers I don't know. And it's quite hard to like accept that this privilege is going to be there even for future future generations, because things are getting better. The internet is here. There is better technology, and this is supposed to aid people to make their work easier. And you see, when you come to instance where someone was not able to achieve anything with the presence of the internet, technology, better electronics, even people in the media never had like nice cameras. So when things get better and technology gets better, it is expected that everyone is gonna be better, and approaches to different issues are going to be better. So I think the privilege is what is making the hate so much, because someone looks at their struggle and they're like, what is this youth trying to say? Because they are more privileged, and because they can access like media spaces. Because if you can remember very well, initially people used to fight for slots to be on newspapers, slots to be on maybe TV channels. But nowadays, if you have your phone, you can air anything and it can go viral, and everyone in the whole world can listen to you. So I think the privilege is what hurts the most. And I really would request the older generation to heal and accept that the youth are going to be here, and they are going to be more privileged, and they're going to have more channels to express themselves. And trying to bring them down is going to be impossible, because technology gets better by day.
But I'm trying to think, Lorraine, if it's the privileges that they are hurting the older generation, then don't you think is that kind of fear that they might think that they are coming to overpower us, they're coming to do better than us, they're coming to take our positions? So because I've been seeing a trend even when it comes to the political game, that to find whenever a young person tries to raise up, to stand in a position, to fight for a position, the older generation, those people in power that are those our fathers, our grandparents, you'll try to see that they are trying to produce some agendas, some propagandas to pull this guy down. Don't you see is that fear that they think we are going to overpower them and we are going to expose their ill propagandas in those offices?
I think that is also a case, and a lot of people are so uncomfortable with change. And the younger generation is so promising, because in any place where there was a youthful revolution, things get better. Because we can see from previous regimes, when youth stood up and said enough is enough, the country got to a better place, as compared to when the leadership is stagnated without the youth making any noise. So I feel like that is also an aspect, and also change is also painful, because who knows, if young people take over, what investigations are gonna come up in regards to people who have accumulated wealth, in regards to people who have looted counties, in regards to people who have looted the national government, in regards to people who have looted the country in general. So I feel like there is this fear that the young generation wants transparency, because we get a lot of inspiration from countries where things are better. When you take a look at Dubai was once a desert, but things have been put in place up until today that youths from this country are recruited to go and work in Dubai. So in instances like this, the youths really understand that time makes a huge difference, and the time that has been there has not created a huge difference in their country. So this is gonna make a lot of older people uncomfortable, because when it comes to these politicians, they are affiliated to people. The politician is surrounded by someone. The person who's surrounding the politician is also surrounded by other people. It's like a food chain. So when you try to break a food chain, the people who are feeding are gonna be so uncomfortable, because you will meet maybe say a politician. This politician needs mobilization on the ground, and for her or him to get mobilization, they need to have a door, which is a person who's going to be the one to do this mobilization. And this person who's going to mobilize youths is going to have youths who feed through him. And these youths who feed through him have families at home who feed through this entire chain from the leader down. So when you touch on someone who's not doing the right thing in the society, it all trickles down to like making all the other people around the food chain angry, because this is their way of survival. Not knowing that if this chain is broken, maybe resources will reach everyone, even without the mobilization, even without the struggle, even without the middlemen who are trying to be like political brokers.
So when when you started, you mentioned something about financial when we are talking about the mental status and where the problem lies. So there's something I want to highlight, and I want some views from you or some explanation from you as a youth. During the Gen Z's uprising, there's a conversation that many youths who are comrades came up with it. I think the education system in Kenya has made the current generation that are now out of school or are graduates in the ex-comrades, they are feeling that pressure that they were wasted in school for being there for over 20 years. Because that conversation when they were during that Gen Z uprising, they were like, we were told that after school we are going to be employed from class 1, standard 1, that is. In fact, you start from baby class, you come to KG1, KG2, KG3. That was our system before the BBC, now the CBC. We had that from baby class. Those are 4 years as a kindergarten. Then you come 8 years in primary school, 4 years in high school, and 4 years in campus. For all these years, you've been taught that you are going to be employed. Then at the end of it, you are out of school, you expect the government to hand you a job because you've qualified, you've gone to school. They've never taught you to be self-independent. They've never taught you that after school you are supposed to look for a job or to employ yourself or to do business. And in fact, you are not given that fund to start that business. So one of the reasons that the Gen Zs were really angry when they rose up, that is the statement they were raising, because the leaders had started telling the comrades that they should stop complaining there are no jobs. In fact, they should employ themselves. They should look for job opportunities where they can get skills, they can venture into business. But they are crying. From class 1 to the 4th year in campus, they were never taught about business. They are not handed the funds to start the business, or they were never taught to be dependent. They were always told that after school they're being handed the jobs. So I felt like it's the pressure that is trying to inflict in them, ndo ile mental status yao pia inakuwa chini. Their health mental status inapigana na zile vitu walioonyeshwa na wametoka hapa nje ni tofauti sana. So do you think the Gen Zs have reason, because after these all years wamekuja hapa nje na kufeel like no, things are different. Tumewaste pesa za wazazi wetu, we've wasted a lot of money from our parents, alafu sasa tumekuja hapa nje tunaambiwa tulipe tujiemploy wenyewe na ile pesa hawajapewa. How do you see about this? Does it make sense, or it's just a propaganda the youths are trying to venture?
I think that those are false remarks. Education is equally important, but the motive behind the education is what was really passed in a wrong way, because a lot of us went to school with their hopes and dreams that one day everybody is going to land a good job, everybody is going to be rich, everybody is going to be out of these problems, forgetting that we need more practical solutions, especially when the rate of unemployment has been high in this country for the longest time. It is during mother's times when people would be handed letters to the post office and employment would meet them home. And the only thing why I want to say that education is very important is I would refer to my county right now, Kilifi, and the education is not really cherished here, and a lot of people have not been able to access education up to a certain level, even the basic education for high school, leave alone going to college. And this has been a problem because even in our political decisions, it really reflects on how low our education is, because someone is not aware of what is going on. Someone just follows like who's the politician with the most hype. If someone is told chagua machungwa sita, chagua wilbaro sita, that is what they'll do. So I think education is equally important, but we should look at education as a way of improving our intelligence, not as a source of livelihood. And our parents presented education as the only formula to be able to be successful. And they forgot that success can come from a lot of things. You could be a businessman, you could be anything else that is not like determined by what you went to school to do. And when these things happen is when programs like CBC get introduced to be able to like bring up another generation that is going to be able to be independent even without like the validation of you have a degree, you have a diploma, or you're so well educated that's why you deserve this job. Let's not forget that there is so much nepotism in this country where you cannot get a job if you're not connected to anyone or you do not know anyone. So I feel like education is really a great contributor to this uprising, because youths are well informed. Let's not forget, youths are well informed. Youths can see the loopholes. Youths can see the money that is being looted. Youths can see everything. Unlike how it used to be before, where someone has to be the one to like read a letter to you to be able to understand, oh, this letter is from so and so and it says this and this. So times have really changed, and the uprising is there because the youth are well equipped with what is happening in this country, and they are well empowered to know when something is amiss. So I cannot blame education and say that, oh, the lack of jobs is what is the problem. The problem is these youths are lacking jobs in a country where everything is going right for politicians and people who are affiliated to politicians and families who belong to politicians. So there is this rift between leadership and the people, more especially the youth, because everything that comes around, every leader that comes to talk about anything that is to be done is so reluctant to include youth. Even in our society today, anything that would improve the lives of youth is never considered. You will hear circles that belong to border borders, and when you go to these circles, you notice that it is elderly men. A very small fraction of youth are there. If you hear widows being empowered, when you go there, you cannot find it. It's quite hard to even meet a youth who's a widow in those women groups. You'll hear women being empowered, which means that they are leaving youths outside, because if you say wamama, it means you are not supposed to be below 35 years to be referred as our mama, or maybe you're not supposed to you are supposed to even have a child to be able to be called mama. If you hear programs that are really oriented into improving this community that you are in right now, hata usiende kwa hizo communities zingine huko mbali, it always focuses on people who are easily coerced into voting for the wrong candidate, because they can be easily blinded. And you see now, people do not want to deal with the real issues, and the real issues are actually the youths. You understand?
Yeah.
And if anything is set for youth, there's going to be so many questions. So how do we implement this? How is this going to be of benefit with us? And how is this going to improve our life? How is this going to be a solution to us in the next 5 years? And this is what leaders don't want to hear. They do not want to work with informed minds, because there's going to be a lot of questions. There's going to be a lot of corrections. There's going to be a lot of changes. There's going to be a lot of disagreements to agree. So I feel like the leaders are very shy in addressing issues that concern the youth, because they fear being challenged.
So I want to come back to you as the CEO of Mimi Initiative, Marekani Impact Initiative. Do you think there's a solution to all these problems?
There is a solution. I feel like there is a solution if we really maximize as the youth into trying to get a solution. First of all, youth should be able to support programs that come up with other youths. And I'm just referring to like our community right now. Every youth wants to be a leader. From every conversation that I see online, you'd be in a group of 400 people or maybe 200 people, but everybody is trying to like get a certain kind of recognition to be able to tick the boxes of, oh, you're so fit to be a leader, oh, this is how leaders are supposed to be. And we all forget that sometimes we are not doing enough justice to the person who really deserves these things. You understand? Because if we all try to like scramble for one thing, nobody's gonna have it. But
Sure.
if the same thing stays intact, everybody is gonna be able to enjoy it. And that is where the confusion comes up, and that is where you find even institutions and organizations like Marekani Impact Mtaani Initiative being thorn in the flesh to so many people, because they do not understand the motive behind this Marekani Impact Mtaani initiative. Clearly, when I started the initiative, there was a lot of backlash, and the backlash has been there ever since. And it is because I have thick skin, I've been able to deal with it over and over again, to a point where you get tired and you don't want to like do it anymore. And when you get to a level where you cannot even handle the backlash or the hate, and you come back to your human form, someone thinks that you're making a mistake. So I believe that in every generation there arises a leader, and the moment that you breed confusion amongst yourselves, you're not going to be able to get anything. And the fastest way to get somewhere is by going alone, but the best way to get somewhere is by going together as a team. Because one of the things that I've really noticed is no one wants to give weight to what another youth is doing, for the fear of, oh, if this person gets a lot of weight, and if this person gets a lot of recognition, they're maybe gonna be the next big thing in the society. Maybe this person is gonna lead tomorrow. And now that is the only fear that is really like revolving around the youth, because at this point, even when you're trying to tackle issues, someone will tell you, oh, you can't be the MCA, and that is not the thing that you've told them that you want to be.
Can I question? Are you trying to say that there are people who currently can sit down and say like Lorraine is a threat? Like a threat to the politicians or the political positions? Because kuna mtu pengine ameona Lorraine, mbona Lorraine anasaidia vijana sana, anasaidia paka mama, shida ni gani? Ama anataka UMCA. So are you a threat to them? Ama ni nini mbaya?
Depends with how you view it. If you are a leader who does nothing to the community, you'll definitely feel threatened, because first of all, there is no time the initiative has gone to source funds from anyone in leadership or seek help from anyone. We have not approached the MCA, we have not approached the MP, we have not even approached the governor, senator, or anyone who's in a position of power. We just depend on people of goodwill who are willing to donate or support the initiative in one way or another. And when they are not there, we intervene and do it ourselves. So if someone sees Lorraine as a threat, it means that there is something behind it. There's no way you'd be seen as a threat if you're not a threat. You understand? And to make the matter worse, this is also accompanied by, I told you about this food chain where a leader is surrounded by people, and these people have to feed their families and stuff like that. It is also like equally transmitted to the food chain to automatically hate you even without knowing, oh, what programs is this lady really running, and okay, what is Marekani Impact Mtaani initiative about, and how valid is this program to our community, because all our agendas touch about so many different things, and leadership is not in our agendas. So we cannot say that, oh, we are trying to cover all our agendas and leadership is one of them, so it's about time like we step up to the next level and try to lead. And also, better still, if I ever decide to vie for an MCA position, whether in 2022, whether in not 2022, whether in 2027, whether in 2032, or whether in future, I am a Kenyan citizen and I have all the qualifications to do it. And in steps to like trying to reach leadership, you have to create solutions to problems that have already existed to even show your capability to be able to handle better things. But you see, on the other hand, is every time you try to create a solution to a problem, you get so valid, and when people try to like see your validity, it also rubs other people in a negative way, and now they have to come and invalidate you, not knowing that if I am persistent enough and if I'm really chasing my dreams, anything I dream of is achievable.
Yeah, it's capable. Yeah. So coming back to Kaloleni sub-county as a whole, I want you to address something, or I want your comments from this. The chain in Mayakani ward in Kaloleni sub-county has been inconsistent. That is when it comes to matters concerning the youth, development, and everything. So people have been complaining. But once people complain, there are people who always try to shut them down. And looking at the current situation, how Kaloleni sub-county looks, we're currently in Marekani ward here. The status of the market, the status of the hospital, there are water shortages, problems all over. But there are people who try to fight to try to keep the name of the available leaders, or the leaders who are supposed to be responsible. They try to picture them in a good way. They don't want them to receive the blames. Who are these people? Because these people, at most of the time, I try to find out, I find they are youths, very young youths who can try to fight for their own people. They can try to help those who have not reached far in education, in understanding how things run. They are the people who stand in and try to educate the rest. But you find these people are the ones who are sitting with the MCAs, the MPs, and they try to defend them. Yet things in the ground sio mambo mazuri kabisa yanaendelea. Je, ukiangalia hili swala linasababishwa na nini? Ni umaskini ama ni ukosefu wa ajira? Ndio maana vijana wanaamua kukua, sijui huku kwenu mnawaita chawa. Hawaita chawa. So msitaki kuwaita chawa, but utapata ni vijana wadogo sana. Ni kitu gani wewe kama mkazi wa Mariakani, as a youth leader in Mariakani and in Kaloleni sub county, ni kitu gani unaona hawa vijana kinawapush kukuwa chawa?
So I really believe that knowledge is power. Kwa hivyo watu wengi wenye wanapigania hawa viongozi wenye wako kwa mamlaka ni kwa sababu hawana uelewa wowote wa masuala ya uongozi, masuala ya budget allocation, masuala ya nini serikali inafaa ifanyie watu, masuala ya mtu kama mkaazi wa hapa Mariakani ana deserve nini, hospitali kama zinafaa ziwe na madawa, masoko kama yanafaa yawe masafi, mabarabara kama yanafaa yapitike na mengine mengi. Kwa hivyo ule ni mtu ambaye yeye bora amepata kile chakula chake ama pengine amepata mshahara wake wa 10,000, yeye ako willing to lose their life ili a support candidate wake. And you see now that is wrong. It also creates a barrier to even youths who want to like be better, because sometimes even as people who stay in this Mariakani are supposed to be the ones who like do oversight. Take an example of our current MCA. She is the person who's supposed to represent us at the county assembly, right? And the MCA's office is directly connected to the governor's office. What does this mean? If the MCA is failing, it outrightly means that the governor is failing. But people are not supposed to hear that. There's no way you tell me to change my governor or the governor, to change the governor and not change the MCA. Because I do not understand how another governor is going to be able to work with the same MCA who was not able to deliver with the previous governor. Yeah. Na vile ningependa kusisitiza kuwa hapa Mariakani vitu vingi ambavyo vinafanyika vinahusu sana PR, ile mapicha yapigwe, yapostiwe, conversations zifanywe, pengine gavana akuje akae mkutano, MCA akae mkutano, lakini at the end of the day unapata hizi vitu havijatatuliwa. Na mimi kitu ambacho huwa kinanifanya nilie sana na uongozi ni kama nitaenda hospitali nikose madawa, hautaniambia ati gavana anajenga hospitali mpya. Kwa hivyo kama gavana anajenga hospitali mpya, mimi nikose madawa kwa hiyo hospitali nzee. Unaelewa? Yeah, utakapokuja uniambie MCA anajenga ofisi yake na sina maji, sasa mimi nitaenda kukunywa ofisi. Una understand? So kuna yale maswala ambayo tunafaa pia sisi wenyewe tuyaangalie, tujue if a leader has been given miaka 5 ya kuongoza na your life has not been made easier, not in terms of your pockets ama in terms of your finances, in terms of the hospitals you go to, the roads you use every day in the village, the water you use and the basic needs you have to meet, the schools your kids go to, the programs set aside for youths and all different ages. Hizi ndizo vitu zenye zinafaa kuonyesha enyewe there's a difference. So I'm supposed to consider giving this person another term. But you cannot tell me to give you another term when I've not taken water for 4 years in your tenure of 5 years. Yeah. It is impossible. And there's no way you tell me, the MCA is the problem, the governor is not the problem, when the MCA and the governor are like connected. This is just like one office. The office of the governor is just an extension of the office of the MCA. So I believe if the MCA is not working, this directly translates to the governor not being able to work. And the other day, the governor was at the Senate and we clearly all saw what was happening there. It means we are being led by people who are clueless. And also another things, leaders expect people who are in this community and trying to be in this community to be beggars and to be in a position where they have to like tunasemanga simp kwa jina ya kisasa.
Yeah.
So unataka mtu akuje ya simp akwambia oh hii initiative kama si wewe haiwezi kaendelea, and when you don't simp they try to make their way into your initiative. A practical example is I have been blamed over and over again for trying to be in contact with the MCA, which is not the case. I was at my initiative's office, the MCA came, I could not lock her out, and she brought us a machine. So I feel like kama mimi siendi kukufikia wewe kama kiongozi, inapaswa uelewe that I am minding my business and I do not want to be aligned with you. And also inafaa uelewe kuwa pia mimi sitaki kudisrespect wakati ambapo utakuja kwa nafasi yangu, kwa sababu kitu cha kwanza you are an elected leader of where I work from, you understand? So which means if you step into my door I have the every obligation to like receive you.
Yeah.
So pia niweze kuhimiza vijana, mkiona watu wako na hawa viongozi wenu ambao mliwaeka, msiwachukie kwa sababu nyinyi wenyewe ndio mliweka hao viongozi. Kwa hivyo wakati wa kuwatoa isikuwe ni lawama kwa Lorraine, mbona unaongea na MCA, mbona MCA amekuja kwa initiative, ama mbona tumekuona na MCA. Nyinyi ndio mliweka kwa mamlaka.
So to shut the whole thing down, I want to ask you a question. Nataka nikuulize swali moja ambalo ile ni swali ambalo pia wewe mkazi wa Kaloleni, wewe mkazi wa Mariakani linakuhusu. Na nataka uweke comment hapo kwa comment section tuambie. Lorraine, nataka uniambie. Bila kutaja kiongozi yoyote, Kilifi, Kaloleni sub county, Mariakani, bila kutaja kiongozi yoyote, uongozi wa Kaloleni sub county unaopatia asilimia ngapi?
Mimi naweza nikasema naupatia tuseme 20%.
Sasa nataka kuelewa kwa nini umewapatia asilimia 20 kati ya asilimia 100, umewapatia asilimia 20. Hizo ni kidogo sana, ni chache ukilinganisha kwamba wako na uwezo wa kufanya mambo makubwa na umewapatia asilimia 20 peke yake. Lazima kuna sababu. Tuambie sababu ni gani?
Kwanza, kitu cha kwanza ni kuangalia vile kina mama zetu wanateseka na swala la maji. Ofisi ya mbunge haijafanya chochote. For the last, sijui mbunge si amekuwa kwa uongozi kupita karibia miaka 10, tukifika 2027 itakuwa miaka 10. Na hakuna hoja yoyote ambayo mbunge amewasilisha kuhusu maji. Hakuna kitu chochote ambacho amefanya kukabiliana na janga la maji. Na tunapoangalia wabunge wa sehemu zingine, hizi ni vitu ambavyo wanazisukuma sana ili watu wao wapate maji. Swala la maji hapa limeachiwa ofisi ya gavana na ofisi ya MCA, na bado pia limewashinda. Unanielewa? Mimi kitu ambacho nataka niseme ni wa viongozi wetu wamefeli katika mambo ya basics. Barabara ambayo mimi natoka kila asubuhi kupitia kuja Mariakani hapa town ni barabara mbaya sana. Nimecomplain times and again. Hii ni barabara ambayo kukinyesha mimi stoki ndani ya nyumba. Hii inamaanisha nini? Kama nilikuwa na shughuli ambazo nitazifanya za kujiendeleza kimaisha ama kuendeleza mtu mwingine, hazitafanyika kukinyesha. Yes. Kitu cha pili, mimi nimeenda hapa hospitali mara mengi. Na nikienda hapo napata hakuna madawa, inabidi nikuje ninunulie madawa. Hata madawa ambayo hayafikishi shilingi 500 hakuna. Na unapo complain unaanza kuambiwa kuna dawa huwa zinastokiwa na zingine huwa hazistokiwi. Na mimi ninapokumbuka katika uongozi wa Rais Mwai Kibaki, hata kama sikuwa na umri ambao ni wa kujielewa sana, nilikuwa nikienda hospitali natibiwa bure, kama ni vipimo nafanyiwa bure, kila kitu ilikuwa bure, paka madawa yalikuwa bure. Shule pia zilikuwa bure. Vitabu tulikuwa tunapatiwa shule, kalamu tulikuwa tunapatiwa
tena mingi sana mpaka zingine unakosa kufanyia kazi.
Ulikuwa ukimaliza kitabu chako ukienda kinatiwa sahihi, unapatiwa kingine. Watu ambao walikuwa wanatumia sanitary towels walikuwa wanapatiwa sanitary towels.
Ile pesa yenye umeitoa kama fee hausikii uchungu
na bado hakukuwa na fee. Masomo
ilikuwa kuna pesa kidogo tunatoa, lakini haukuwa una feel hata uko una feel.
Na mimi sijasoma shule ambayo si shule. Lakini hapa Mariakani kuna wanafunzi ambao tangu waingie Mwareni, hata huyu gavana kufanya ile feeding program ameshindwa. Ukiangalia kama mtoto, kitu cha kwanza, kitu ambacho tuko na shida nacho hapa Kaloleni kwa sana ni njaa na shida ya maji. Na hizi ni basic needs zenye tunafaa tukue tumengangana kuzitatua. Kama mtoto anaweza akakosa chakula nyumbani, si basi apate chakula shule. Si ni kweli? Kama mtoto anaweza akakosa maji nyumbani, si basi apate maji shule. So kama uwezi ukapata madawa hospitali, Unataka huyu mtu ambaye anakuja kukupigia kura, hakuja kupigia kura akiwa mgonjwa, uendelee na uongozi? Mtu ambaye hajakula pia unataka haja ya kupigia kura aendelee na uongozi? Mtu ambaye hajasoma unataka haja ya kupigia kura uendelee na uongozi ndio mambo yaendelee kuharibika? So nimekuja kugundua kuwa hata mtu kama gavana ako na mauongo ambao yako very outright. Kuna wakati bwana rais alikuja huku the first time before kuja kwake kwa pili, mbunge akasema wanajeshi watupatie maji. Wanajeshi walitoa shilingi milioni 138 wakamkabidhi gavana. Juzi venye rais alikuwa huku, gavana alisikika akisema kuwa wanaendelea kuweka mikakati.
Mikakati gani?
Yale maji kushughulikiwa. Na sasa hiyo wakasema wamezipokea shilingi milioni 138. Na tangu rais akuja ile ziara yake ya kwanza mpaka sasa hivi mwaka uko karibu kuisha. Sasa tutapata lini maji? Kama pesa zinaweza zikakabidhiwa gavana na bado aseme bado anaweka mikakati, alafu kwa Senate tunakuja unapata kuna shilingi milioni 100 ambazo zili withdrawiwa na haziwezi zikaambiwa zimetoka wapi ama zinaenda wapi ama zimefanya nini. Pengine hata ni zile pesa zetu za maji.
Nimekuelewa sana Lorraine, na ni jambo ambalo linahitaji umakinifu zaidi kwa vijana waamke ili waweze kupigania kaunti yao na pia eneo bunge lao kwa ujumla. Sasa wewe kijana wa Mariakani na wewe kijana wa Kilifi County mzima, ningetaka kukupatia swala moja tu ama assignment moja. Fanya uchunguzi wa mahali ambapo unatoka. Anza na yule MCA wako, amefanya nini? Kwa sababu hatuwezi kupeleka, unajua kuna kitu kimoja nimegundua Lorraine, lawama nyingi tunapeleka kwa viongozi walio juu, tunasahau wale viongozi ambao wanafaa kuchukua yale malalamiko yetu wayapeleke kule. So MCA ni mtu wa kwanza ambaye natarajia anafaa anasikiza wananchi wake, anashikana na governor, because MCA anafanya kazi kwa ofisi ya governor. The MP is doing for the national government. So mtu mwenye ameshikana na governor, so all those allocations za county government ni MCA ndo anahusika pakubwa sana. So na ni mtu mwenye ako direct na wananchi wake. Ni kama mzee wa kijiji. An MCA is just like a representative of those village people. So ni mtu anafaa kuwa anachukua zile shida anapeleka kule. So wewe kama kijana jiulize, MCA wako amejaribu kutatua zile shida pale kijijini kwenu, ama lile eneo ambalo umelitoka wewe binafsi kama kijana? MCA wako ama kiongozi wa ule mtaa wako amefanya nini? Yeye amejaribu kutatua lile tatizo ambalo alilipata pale wakati anaingia katika mamlaka? Na kama bado, wewe kama kijana umechukua hatua gani? Hiyo ndo assignment nataka kukupatia wewe kijana. Mimi siwezi jua wewe umetoka maeneo gani, lakini Kilifi County ni kubwa sana. So chukua jukumu, angalia mahali umetoka, kiongozi wako amefanya nini. Tusipende kuchukua lawama kuzipeleka kwa rais, tuseme rais one term. If it's the rais one term, MCA wako amepeleka proposal kule kwa rais akaikataa. Kama ni mbunge wako, kabla ulaumu rais, huyu mbunge wako amefanya nini? Je, ameonyesha juhudi za kutaka kufanya akakosa zile fedha ama fund? Hayo ndo maswali tunafaa kujiuliza. So Lorraine, tukimalizia tu, ningetaka uniambie swali la mwisho. Je, wewe kulingana na haya mambo yote tumeongea, je, unahisi kabisa usalama wa hali ya kiafya ama let me say it in English, the mental health status ya kijana wa Kaloleni sub county, je, unahisi iko salama?
Haiko salama. Kama mimi mwenyewe kama mtu ambaye napush agenda ya mental health awareness na kuwa overwhelmed, na hii ni kwa sababu wakati nafanya projects zangu kuna watu ambao pia wanaziingililia kati. Na kama mimi naweza nikakuwa mentally challenged and my mental health ikuwa at stake, je, kijana mwingine ambaye ako pale nyumbani hawezi hata akajiongea ama hawezi aka air anything out ama hawezi kuwa bold enough to speak about it? Recently kuna hii issue ambayo ilitokea kwa WhatsApp group. Sisi wote tuko kwa WhatsApp group moja. Na kuna msichana alienda akaongea mambo yake hapo, na hiyo issue nika-escalate paka polisi. Ni issue ambayo ili weigh down on me a lot. Na kama unanijua sana, mimi na treasure sana initiative yangu. Na nikipata mtu ambaye analeta kizuizi kwa initiative yangu, ule na muona kama shetani, kwa sababu kwa nini ukue uko against kitu ambacho mimi mwenyewe nakiamkia na nakihemea kila siku, ili to improve the life of the community and also to improve my own life. Kwa sababu pia mimi kama ningekuwa initiative I touch directly, singekuwa naifa. Ingekuwa I'm doing it for other people, I could not just be doing it. I have to come first. So mental health is gonna be a really tough conversation around us, because tuko na zile, tuna uswahili mwingi wa kutaka kushinda tukirushiana maneno, na hizi cheche za maneno watu wanasahau kuwa kama masomo yako yamefikia level fulani, tuseme class 8, you might not know the implication of your words. Sheria itachukua mkondo wake, wewe utakuwa in a position ambao huwezi, uko defenseless, kwa sababu kitu cha kwanza wewe haukuwa na makini, ulikuwa unafanya mambo uswahili na unajipata kwenye taabani na unasahau kuwa sheria ina mbinu yake ya kutatua.
So this case that you are talking about, mimi sikuipata vizuri kwa sababu sijakuwa mtu wa mtandao, Facebook nani WhatsApp siku hizi inakonga ngumu. I didn't get the whole thing down. But how long has this thing taken? Because it seems this person has been fighting you for so long. Has it affected you mentally?
It really has affected me mentally, kwa sababu kitu cha kwanza, mtu ambaye anashinda akinitukana ni mtu ambaye anafanya kazi kwa ofisi ya MCA. Na pia nilipoenda kung'ang'ana kufuatilia hii kesi, si unajua kesi kishaingia political influence, kama hauko aggressive enough, ile kesi inaweza ikakushinda ama uchoke. Lakini mimi kwa zile kazi zangu ambazo nimezoea kufanya, mimi si mtu wa kugive up haraka. Kwa hivyo kesi bado iko na mimi naendelea kuifanya, and it has really affected me, because mtu haezi akakutusi for a period of over 2 years ukimwangalia, alafu yeye anaona ni kama pengine huyu haezi akanifanyia kitu. Anasahau kuwa mimi nilikuwa nampatia grace kwa sababu mimi ni kijana mwenzangu, naona pengine ako misinformed politically, ama pengine hajui malengo ya hii initiative yangu. Na sana sana na feel ile discomfort inatokea kwa sababu watu wengi hawajui kama nina azma ya kusimama kiti ama kama nataka kusimama kiti 2027. Lakini I feel like and I believe if I want to, I will. And nobody can stop me.
So tell me, how have you been able to cope up with this? And then when you finalize with that, give us your final word.
How I've been able to cope, I am a very strong person, and mimi ni mtu ambaye napenda kuongea. I like to talk about what I'm going through. So one of the things about mental health is you have to share whatever you're going through. Mimi hakuna siku nimekuwa in a position where I'm supposed to share what I'm going through na nika nyamaza. So I really tend to open up to a lot of people, my friends, my initiatives board members, hata wao pengine wako kwa hizi magroups pia wanaona, na we talk through it. Na hii step hata ya kwenda kushtaki ni kukata ile mazoeano tu, ndio. Kwa sababu haya maneno sitaki kuyasikia tena baada ya hapo, and I would not want to encourage someone to be bullied online, you understand, because pia cyber bullying is a crime, which can attract 10 years in prison ama also a legal fine of 10 to 20 million. Si unajua ile Cyber Crime Act iliamendiwa na president, so things are very tough. And as youths, mimi ningependa kuwakanya, kama haujui mtu na kama hauna uhusiano na mtu na kama hauna urafiki na mtu, ama hata kama uko na uhusiano na mtu na urafiki na yeye, tafadhali limit mambo ambayo unasema kuhusu huyu mtu, kwa sababu when you come to meet someone who has registered an organization like Marekani Impact Mtaani Initiative, it takes money to do it. Hakuna mtu anaweza akakuja akaamka aseme ni sawa, mimi nimeanza organization inaitwa Marekani Impact Mtaani Initiative, kama hajui malengo yake kwa jamii ni gani.
Well, I think I've got you very well, and that's a very good wrap. So thank you, very important. My name is Moses Muye, and my guest today here is Lorraine Kasuli, the founder and CEO of Mimi, Marekani Impact Initiative. I think a fellow youth outside there, you've gotten something, and I need your comments. Comment from there whenever you need me. There's my number down there. We can talk broader topics that are going to help us as youths of this county. Thank you.